Good morning. I am back from my trip to Seattle, and it's taken me a couple days to get over the jet lag, but I finally feel like I am. First couple of nights on the way back were rough. Lots of delays. Took me ages to get home, and then I couldn't sleep on top of that. A recipe for disaster. So I've not been out on the bike as soon as I wanted to. I thought I'd be able to get out fairly quickly, but it's tough, very tough. So I'm back, and if you remember in the video before, I said that I was really looking forward to Seattle because the coffee capital of the US, and as a big coffee fan, it seemed perfect. But what I learned was that coffee in America is crap. It doesn't taste of anything. Even the specialty coffee shops taste like any chain. So I was really disappointed in the coffee offerings, and I visited maybe 6 or 7 coffee shops, but none of them could really match what we were getting in the UK and in Europe, so we still win in that regard. What they do very well, which I was surprised at, was beer and cider. There was loads of breweries. In Seattle, I went to, I did a little pub crawl on my own, because there's this little cluster of maybe 6 or 7 breweries. And that was fun. And I visited a few cider places, which were really exceptional. And what I learned was there's very rare you can find beers under 4% in the US, which was really tough doing a pub crawl because I wanted to try everything. Overall, had a good time. The event went well. The whole reason for going out there was for business, and that went really well. And so I also picked up a new jacket whilst I was out there, which I'm extremely happy with. This is very similar to a motorcycle jacket that I wanted to buy, and it had all the padding on the inside of it. And it's by a brand called Filson. Filson are a US brand based in Seattle, which I didn't know. And my best friend and I, we love Filson products. And I wanted a Filson product for a while, but in the UK, the prices are significantly higher than they are in the US. So it was a big surprise when I walked up the street and I saw a Filson shop, and I popped in. Obviously everyone's very helpful, and I saw this jacket and I had to have it. It's meant to shrink a little bit over time. I feel like it's a little bit too long in the arms, but that'll shrink over time. But it's perfect to have on top of my armor. And so this is the first time I'm actually riding with it out. Feels very comfortable, but it's tin cloth is what they call it. So it's not very breathable. So it's, with the sun beating down on me, it's getting quite warm. So I'm looking forward to getting that airflow. Whilst I was away, I also have to thank everyone for watching, commenting, liking the videos that I put up previously. There's a video that I did on the upgrades that I did to Bonnie, the seat and the pannier racks, and people have been very helpful in suggesting other improvements, which I've bought and will probably do a little video on once they have arrived. I've also got a chin mount now, which I've been meaning to get for a while, and this should hopefully improve the shots that I've got, because at the chest height it's facing directly into the fly screen, which means you get a lot of bug shots, which isn't great. So hopefully this will add a new dimension to what I'm filming on the road. I also need to thank those that have watched and commented on my DJI Mic Mini review video. If you haven't seen it, I'll post it up here somewhere if I can figure out how to do that. But I commented on the Mic Mini that I wasn't really impressed with it, paired with my Action 3 camera. Sound wasn't very good, was cutting out, and you can check out the video and get a little bit more information on that. And a lot of the comments have said, look, we think it's the camera that's the issue. You need to upgrade to an Action 4, Action 5. So that is on the buy list. But just my luck, Amazon have had their sale a few weeks ago, and it brought the Action 5 camera down to about £200, and I didn't buy it at the time, and I should have. So now I'm in this position of, do I wait until the Action 6 camera comes out instead? And can I suffer, such a strong word, but can I deal with the Action 3 and the Mic Mini for just a little bit longer? So I'm filming on the Action 3 and the Mic Mini now. And I'm hoping it's picked up the audio. Sometimes it cuts out. I'm hoping the Bluetooth connection in the Action 4 and Action 5 will be better. So watch this space. So the plan today is I'm going to go out for a ride for about an hour. I think I need to fill up the tank because I think she's running low. I did connect her up to a battery tender yesterday, so she should have a fully powered battery. And my fiance has very kindly been looking after the bike and making sure that the seat doesn't get wet because it's been raining a lot here whilst I've been away. So I'm going to go to a place called Northern Cobbler Coffee Roasters, which is not far from Melton Mowbray and Leicester, so it's in between that area there. So like I said, it's about an hour. And in my last video, I asked for some suggestions on what to listen to music-wise, all in the effort of beating the Spotify algorithm. Most people text me, which is very kind. I got some great suggestions. And so I am going to listen to Audioslave's debut album. I'm not too familiar with Audioslave, actually. Maybe it's one of those where I don't know the titles of the songs, but once I hear it, I know. So the album came out in 2002 and is an hour and 5 minutes long. So it's the perfect length for this journey. So that's it. I'm ready to go. I'm gonna get Bonnie started up, lock up the house, head off, and yeah, we'll check out the chin mount. And I'll probably speak to you again once I'm at this Northern Cobbler's Coffee Roasters and let you know what our thoughts are there. So I'm here at the Northern Cobbler Coffee Roaster, and I've just had some food, had a bagel and some cake and a coffee, and I'm really happy I found it. After 2 weeks of pretty awful coffee, I'll just adjust this. After 2 weeks of pretty awful coffee, it's nice to come to a place that has pretty decent coffee. A relief. And so, ride was very nice. And I was just reviewing some of the footage from the chin mount. Very happy with it. The angle is so much better when it's a bit higher up. On the way in, I got I don't know if the chin mount actually caught this, but I was coming off a roundabout and there was a car right in my left lane as I was coming off. Luckily, I saw them and beeped. And if it's in the if I've got it in the footage, I'll put it up so you can see it. But my God, first ride out, and you forget there's a lot of idiots out on the road. So these are a reminder to always do a lifesaver before you get off that roundabout, or off any roundabout. Luckily, I just beeped them, and they were paying attention enough to hear that beep, realise what they'd done. But yeah, can be scary out there. But other than that, the ride was pretty uneventful. It's a lovely day. The jacket held up pretty well. Started off really hot, got a sweaty back, sweaty arms. It was pretty gross, but as I hit the national speed limit, cooled down. It's going to be great when it gets colder. You know, when we're hitting that kind of 12, 13 degrees, this jacket, because it doesn't breathe, is going to be superb. So if you remember, at the start I was recommended an album, which is this album, Audioslave's debut album called Audioslave, which came out in 2002. And I'm not particularly familiar with Chris Cornell, who's the lead vocalist. I know him from You Know My Name, which is the Casino Royale James Bond's song. I must have saw that film maybe 6 times in the cinema. I absolutely loved it. And so that was really how familiar I was with Chris Cornell as a solo artist. I obviously know Soundgarden and Black Hole Sun. Who doesn't? And so as an introduction to the band, I mean, as a debut album, I was really impressed. The album's about an hour, which is how long it took me to get here. So it was good timing. What I was really surprised to know is Audioslave being a spin out from Rage Against the Machine, which, as you know, Killing in the Name of, one of the biggest songs probably ever. Absolutely love Killing in the Name of. And it makes a lot of sense, you know, thinking back to how the album sounds with the lead guitarist Tom Morello and Chris Cornell's voice just go really well together. It's very raw and mean. It's like a wall of sound, and it feels like, you know, on the cover is fire and like a volcano, and it does feel like an eruption of music and sound and kind of grunge and rock and metal, and it was really fun to ride to. I didn't realise that Cornell and Vedder from Pearl Jam were friends, so it's a small world. But I suppose it makes sense, they're both Seattle-based. But it was nice how I listened to Pearl Jam debut album last time, and now it's Audioslave's debut album. And what is it with debut albums? Is there a bad debut album? I'm trying to think of a debut album I listened to where I was like, eh. If you know any, let me know. But as far as debut albums go, this was great. There was no skippable tracks. It was really well paced in that it started off with these kind of heavier rock songs as a coming out, here we are. And then it would soften up a little bit into more kind of ballady, softer songs and then pick back up again. And I quite like that. I guess if I was to criticize it, I couldn't tell you any of the lyrics. In terms of the songwriting, I don't know. I couldn't name you a lyric. But it just sounds really good. Which, you know, when I'm riding, is lyrics as important? Probably not. Music can help focus. I was just really vibing with the sound as I was riding, and I'm stuck in traffic and I'm behind cars. I'm really vibing with the sound. Kachis, I think I'm saying that right, Kachis, which is the first track off the album. I wish I could hear that again for the first time. Because when that kicks in, as like an introduction to the band, it's a great introduction. If you've never heard anything from them before and that's the first song that you hear, it begs you to continue listening. So it's a lot of fun. And I'm going to listen to it again on the way back, so I can do my revs out of 5. But I've already given Pearl Jam 5 revs, so is it a better album or is it a worse album, or is it the same as Pearl Jam's 10? Got some decisions to make, but it was a great suggestion. It was a great recommendation from Craig. And obviously, if you've got any recommendations, let me know below. I'm still trying to beat the Spotify algorithm. So I'm going to enjoy this coffee and I'm going to head back. It is warm, but that was a very uneventful ride in all the right ways. I managed to listen to the album again, and I think the second song is my favourite by far. Show Me How to Live is what it's called. Show Me How to Live is my favourite song on the album. I think it's worth a listen to. Now that I know Tom Morello was part of it, Rage Against the Machine, makes a lot of sense re-listening to it again. Again, it's one of those, like, how did I not know? Of course. So a great suggestion. And this was a lovely ride out. So I guess the takeaways for today is, if you ever go to Seattle and you are a coffee drinker, don't get your hopes up. Alternatively, if I'm completely wrong, and I don't think I am, on the coffee front, and and you've been to Seattle before and there's a coffee place that stood out to you, let me know. Otherwise, stick with the beer, stick with the cider, and the diners are always good. Jacket held up really well, but again, like I say, I am sweating, so I'm not going to smell myself. Oh, I've missed her. And again, the seat, I cannot tell you enough how good the King and Queen seat is. If you have a Bonneville and you don't have the King and Queen seat, you're sleeping on it. Honest to God, the best purchase you can make. I should have another upgrade coming tomorrow, a very minor upgrade. but I'll obviously share more of that when it arrives. So I guess all that's left to do is the rev rating. What would I give Audioslave's debut album, Audioslave? So Pearl Jam 10, their debut album, got a 5 revs. Is this worth 5 revs? Okay. Alrighty. We've got that's half. 3.5 revs for Audioslave's debut album, Audioslave. And if you do have any recommendations on anything else I should be listening to, help me beat the Spotify algorithm, I'd be very grateful. Now, I have 2 more recommendations that I was given. One being Nirvana Bleach, which is their debut album, because they are a Seattle-based band as well. And I was given another recommendation as well, Crashbox by Monkey House by Tim Biller, who recommended that. So Nirvana or Monkey House. I would love to get to a position where I've got so many recommendations, I'm having to put it into like a random generator to tell me what to listen to. So if you've got any recommendations, let me know at the bottom in the comments. If you completely disagree with my assessment of Audioslave, then please tell me how wrong I am in the comments. But thank you very much for giving this a watch and coming with me on my first ride back. Enjoy the rest of the week, and I'll catch you next time.